Halal Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of Ruel. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, wherever your lot may be. As you can see, you have what looks to be an Edomite, or who you would ignorantly refer to as white man. But if you see his shirt collar, look at that shirt under his suit coat, you can see that is the color white. And basically, what he's about to explain is, or what he's about to portray in this short clip, is the other tribe, another tribesman of an Edomite, mad at the head tribe, which is Amalek, for cutting them out of the blessing and trampling on the jewel that he thinks is Babylon the Great, or America. But this place was created to rise to great glory, but also to be the place of judgment, right? So that blessing that has reached its height will come crashing down. So I'm gonna let this play. It's actually quite interesting. I kind of had a good laugh, but you'll see why. He tramples on something, a representation of Amalek. So let's go. We'll get a couple scriptures, and then that may or may not be the video. I'm not sure. We'll see how the Spirit leads.
Patrick Little here. I'm your leading Republican candidate in the latest poll. I've got more than twice the support, according to Survey USA, than any of those candidates in there. They just had me expelled from the building because I won't serve Israel. I want to serve my country. I want to serve the United States. I want to serve California. I will not bow to a foreign flag. I will not serve a foreign government. The Republican Party, the GOP of California, is nothing but Zionist stooges. They do the bidding of a foreign power that has committed terrorist attacks against this country. USS.
Not only this country, but throughout the world, right? Setting themselves up, taking control of the money, putting those nations in a great amount of debt, allegedly. And then when, of course, the nations cannot pay it, but they will say, hey, if you, vote this way on the next UN meeting, UN council meeting, or if you, give me a cut or sell me your raw materials at, a price so astronomically low that you can't profit, but we'll call it even. Sending, allegedly, of course, sending what you call the economic hitmen in. And if that doesn't do that, and those economic hitmen would, try to subvert that government by, of course, cutting the head off the snake. And I only say snake as in the leader, by way of, it rhymes with crustaceate a nation, right? Those leaders, and they'll lie, they'll spread propaganda, and they'll say that he was harming his own people, gassing them, committing mass genocide. So we need to go over there and spread the democracy. And democracy comes with a huge, huge price to the people, to their economy, to their food, to their way of life, to their traditions that they have held long before these devils had ever set foot there. But of course, that is another story for another day. So before we continue to let him do his thing, let me get Habakkuk 2 and 16 is the point, but I'm just going to read the highlighted portion. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Behold, is it not the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity. For the earth shall be filled with knowledge and the glory of the Lord as the water cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, and that putteth thy bottle to him, and that maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And when you look into that, you can the philosophies that they spread. The a boy could be a girl, and children can basically use California as a more recent example. Children can use California as a sanctuary city. So if they say, hey, if they were born biologically female and their parents don't affirm it, the children don't have to listen to the family. The government they step in, spread that philosophy, spread that poison, spread that wine, and now the children can just leave and go into California, which is a sanctuary place, and who knows the wickedness and the disgusting things that they're going to do, because there are children left alone without their parents. So somebody's going to be there ensuring that a certain mindset, I'll leave it at that a certain mindset, that a certain way of thinking, that a certain way of making sure the adults in that area are happy, that is going to be pushed. Now we'll get to 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And of course, these devils, that's what they're heading towards very quickly. And that is why the scriptures also tell you, roughly paraphrases, he knows that he have a short time. So behold, the devil come down with great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So they're scrambling, trying to get this whole thing in order, but they're getting sloppy. Everything looks a hot mess. You have the Egyptian, of course, the spiritual Egyptian standing against the spiritual Egyptian, and their tongues falling upon themselves, right? That shameful spewing is unfolding in more ways than 10, but this is just a single video to kind of drive home the point.
Liberty in 1967, over 200 casualties. They planted bombs in U.S. military targets, facilities in Egypt in the 1950s. They were trying to blow up United States servicemen and their families in Egypt. Blame it on the Arabs. Israeli citizens committed these terrorist acts. A stroke of luck that we detected the bombs before they went off and hurt any U.S. citizens or U.S. military personnel in Egypt in the Levant affair. All of the people involved in the Levant affair were Israeli citizens pretending to be Egyptian Arabs. We turned them over to the embassy.
And if it's one thing an Edomite's good at, is pretending to be somebody they're not. Pretending to be somebody other than an actual Edomite.
Good morning, California. Patrick Little here. I'm your leading United States servicemen and their families in Egypt. Blame it on the Arabs. Israeli citizens committed these terrorist acts. A stroke of luck that we detected the bombs before they went off and hurt any U.S. citizens or U.S. military personnel in Egypt in the Levant affair. All of the people involved in the Levant affair were Israeli citizens pretending to be Egyptian Arabs. We turned them over to the embassy in Cairo on orders of our United States State Department. Terrorists trying to kill Americans in a false flag attack. Never punished. Turned over to the Israeli government. They were never.
And that's their favorite thing. He said it, the FF attack. That's another thing with the economic hitman. If that doesn't work, they say they would. There's a video, if you type in, I can't remember the guy's name, but if you type in economic hitman, there's a book and everything about it. And then he explains, like, if that doesn't work, then we send in the jackals, and the jackals kind of get a little, they get their hands a little bit more dirty. And last but not, the very last resort, but of course not least, they send in the military. But what do you have to do? You have to have some sort of provocation. In comes the FF attack, right? There needs to be something to get the public involved. You need the you need to sway the minds of the people. What am I getting? This is what we need. In trouble. Damn. Psalm 73 and 5. So let me go to that real quick. I couldn't remember where I was at. We'll read the highlighted. So, starting at 5, they are not in trouble as other men. Psalm 73 and 5. Neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth them about, and a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. And wait a minute. Let's go 8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongues walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and the waters cup of dang. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. So really we just needed 9. And of course, you can liken that unto, the MAGA thing back when the other tribes of the Edomites, particularly the American Edomite, in the early 30s and 40s and 50s, you couldn't, as a Jake, you couldn't do anything. And even before then, you couldn't even testify against them in court. They could do all the wrong to you that they wanted. Of course, because you were 3/5 of a human. So it didn't really count whatever they did to you. So you can look at that as him not being in trouble as other men. And then, that's a micro cosmic way. And then on a more macro level, you have them not being in trouble, as you see this dude here saying they went throughout the earth pretending to be so-and-so, this person, blah, 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 woo-de-woo, with the FF attacks and, of course, stealing land, subverting governments, and installing puppets to enact their will, allegedly. So, it's plain as day. And while we there, because, 20 years ago, you never would have seen anything like this. Did that wicked be revealed? Let no man. 2 Thessalonians. Slow down. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, which, we're coming out of that. And as the scriptures say, one shall call himself Israel, one shall say, I am Jacob. We'll get that too. But the point I want, except there come a falling away first, is here in the second half. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And if you get that... perdition definition, all right. A state of eternal oh my gosh. But let's see. From ecclesiastical Latin, perditio, destroy, completely to destruction. Let's see. Let's get the secular meaning. We don't want Christian theology. Okay, how about that? Okay, it ain't gonna. You'll have to go to your blue letter and get perdition. And then one shall say, I am. I wanted to add that because the first half I talked about the falling away. Um, yeah. One will say, I'm the Lord's. Right, one will say, I'm the Lord's, and another will call himself by the name of Jacob, and another will write, even brand or tat upon his hand. I'm the Lord and sword. Okay, so Isaiah 44 and 5. To link with that first half of what we read in Second Thessalonians. I just want to make sure I keep everything covered, and what I speak, I grab. Okay, we'll start it at the top. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour out water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring. And they shall spring up as among grass, and the willows by the water courses. One shall say, I'm the Lord's, another shall say, call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. So now you have a lot of folks, inquiring, what tribe am I from? Or, they're coming back in, that spirit of the Lord has gone out into the earth. And of course, you do have your reprobates that are using it for filthy lucre's sake, or using it in ignorance and too proud to humble down and learn through the men of the great millstone and those who preach the like doctrine. But all in all, there's a 1/3 that is justified, and that is learning, and that is humble, and that is contrite, understanding what it actually means to be an Israelite, what it actually means to understand, one, who you are by blood, and two, what that responsibility is. Okay, so let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. It's not that much longer to go.
Punished. These people are heroes in Israel. We know there are Israeli fingerprints all over the 9/11 attacks. This is the flag of a terrorist country. They call it.
Notice it's 6-pointed, right? Yeah, that is the number of the man. I always found that interesting. They call it the Star of David, but for his shield, but there is no mention about that, and that is long past debunked. So I'm not even gonna get into that. And then it's the seal of Solomon, but the 6-pointed star, of course, because all occultism, all left-handed means pretty much go back to Sumer or Sumeria and ancient Babylon, and it's a symbol that invokes spirits, and by left-hand means, of course. And hold on, I'm trying to think and scroll. Let me slow down. But the point of it is, it has nothing to do with the law, statutes, and commandments. It has nothing to do with King David. It has nothing to do with anything that is on the right-hand side of the Father. All right. Of course, we have the 13 and 16, but I'm going to get 18. And here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of the man, and his number is 666. And I said in a previous video, like, you'll always find that the Lord is very clever. The Lord is very good about putting the spirit on this devil to include sixes and things. So you look at House bills, and if there's some sort of propaganda on the news, they'll say something happened on 6th Street but at 6 p.m. It's always a 6, right? So I have to find that funny that they adopted that Zionist symbol is a 6-pointed star.
The police on me when I started stepping on it, dragging it under my foot as I walked out the door. I was being escorted out by security. I'm leading more than twice the support of the nearest.
Well, you see. So I'm about to start seeing a lot more trouble hit this place, infighting and or fighting within and fighting without. And somehow, some way, those of us who truly fear the Lord, that insurrection on those who fear the Lord, it's on his way as well. Somehow, some way, it'll be those of us who truly embody what it means to fear the Lord. And of course, you'll have these Christians and folks who believe in the Bible but don't have any understanding. They'll be fodder. They'll be fodder in order to protect the actual men of the Lord. But we will see some things coming down the pipe. We will run into some trouble, run into some issues. But the Lord always said, "Fear not." So I pray that you meditate on these things that are to come, that you continue to pray and ask the Lord for the Spirit or whatever it is you need to gird up your loins like a man and continue to walk forward. So with that being said, Shalom.